Black Country New Road is an English rock band formed in 2018. They mostly metal in the best post-rock genre like bands such as Squid, Shame and Black MIDI, this last one being a frequent collaborator of theirs. All these bands released albums last year, Black Country New Roads being my favorite. Their debut album, titled For the First Time, a chaotic beast of an album. After For the First Time had a pretty good reception, everyone was waiting to see where the band would take their rather unique sound. Could they surpass the immense, but not that huge, but still pretty big expectations? Well, kind of. On February 4th, 2022, Black Country New Road released their second album titled Ants From Up There.
Vibrant colours, orange, red, yellow and blue. To and from Waterloo, I love riding on you.
Ants From Up There is a very different album from their debut. It feels a little bit more personal and sentimental. It has lush instrumentals that flow softly through the album as opposed to the bombastic sound of For the First Time. And some people say this album is more accessible, but I don't know, man. Make your mom listen to the 40-minute closer. The intro track goes right into what we have to expect from Ants From Up There. Lots of pretty instruments and repeating music ideas. It's short and sweet, and it brings us directly into the first single of the album, Chaos Space Marine, the perfect opening number of the Ants From Up There musical, a cute little introduction to all the instruments at the start of the song, and an introduction to all the themes present in this record at the end. It's a very dynamic track that I quite like, but I think I'd like it more if the part wasn't there. But still, great track. Another single comes next, titled Concorde, a soft and pretty song about adoring a person so much when they probably don't feel as strongly as you. The theme of the plane, the Concorde, is present all over this album. It represents a person who you know you're meant to love, but you also know well that one day they'll fly away. The narrator is infatuated with Concorde, so much so that even the smallest glimpse of her flying in the sky is worth it. But for her, he's insignificant. He looks like an ant from up there. I love the quiet guitars, the soft drums, and the slow build-up to the grandiose ending that made me cry several times. Red Song is another one of the singles. This sad and pretty track tells us about the narrator's lover not opening up and not being more intimate and trusting with him. The metaphor of the song, leaving breadcrumbs in her bed, refers to this theme as well. Her telling the narrator how this place is not for any man nor particles of bread is his partner telling him that she would rather not deal with his feelings and shortcomings, and she does not really want that level of intimacy. This one's certainly a slow burner. It took me a couple of listens to actually like it. Not to say it's remotely boring, it's just so dense and slow, but that's precisely why I ended up liking it. It starts off so eclectic with seemingly no time signature. The way it builds up with the violin, the guitar, the drums, the saxophone, every instrument adding up one by one. It's beautiful. In contrast, Good Will Hunting is the catchiest and poppiest song in the album. But even so, a detail I really like about it is how on the choruses, the drums quiet down instead of picking up as they usually do. I found that pretty cool. This track talks about how the narrator wants his partner to rely on him and really to just depend on him just once. As he says, I never wanted someone so much to fall. He believes himself to be the most insignificant part of her life, trying to find some way to keep himself in her mind. Even the happiest sounding song in here is still a raw emotional confession. Actually, the whole album is a confessional, really. Oh, also... Haldern might be the prettiest sad song I've ever heard. I cry a lot. This track was improv'd at the Haldern Pop Festival in Germany. It's honestly so incredible that I almost don't believe it. Every instrument flows like wind, taking their turn to fit perfectly. A lot of repeating ideas, the constant It all feels so deliberate and graceful. The lyrics are very minimal, only 4 verses spread through the whole song, that tells us how broken this relationship is. How the narrator depends so much emotionally on a person who isn't interested in their emotional connection, or doesn't even want to deal with it. He proposes to her in a desperate attempt to stop the inevitable, but she rejects him and leaves. And then after seeing how devastated he was, she calms down and comforts him. Every time he sings, I die a little bit. Mark's theme is a tribute song to saxophonist Louis Evans' uncle, who passed away from COVID in early 2021. It's a touching little interlude accompanied by Mark's drunk singing, or so I've heard, I don't really know. Not much else to say about it really, other than I love how the song starts with going silent for a few minutes and then having every other instrument join. It's cute. I've already implied it a couple times, but the lyricism in this album is incredible. From the raw and depressing lines in Brett's song and Haldern, to the quirky and fun lines in Chaos Space Marine and Good Will Hunting. But not only that, the singing has improved so much from the first album. Especially on my favorite song on the album, the place where he inserted the blade. This song seems to be the end of the relationship, or at least that's how I interpret it. The last conversation and the what-ifs of the future. The narrator tries to cope with the fact that it's soon to be over and that he still very much loves Concorde. There's a lot of little moments I love in the song alone.
So clean your soup maker and breathe in your chicken broccoli. I know you're tired. Well, I'm tired too. Good morning. Show me the fifth or the cadence you want me to play. Show me where the time, the other end of this train.
Speaking about the lyricism, one of my favorite lines is,
Well, I tried just to stroke your dreams better, but darling, I see that you're not really sleeping.
the way he sings it, it's just great. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, even though I like how eclectic Snow Gloves is, to me, it feels a little tucked in, like it almost doesn't belong in the album. I do still think it's a good track. I've heard people say the erotic drums ruin the song, but for me they're like my favorite part. The hurt singing in this track is also great, but for some reason that I can't figure out yet, I can't really sit through the song, and a lot of times I skip it. But still, it's a good and cathartic experience to experience. And right after Snow Gloves, we get the 14-minute closer, Basketball Shoes. The 3-ish part musical number epic, and the less we talk about the original lyrics, the better, I think. However, at its core, this is the song that most of the others on the album were extrapolated from. You can even spot some musical ideas that went on to appear on the rest of these songs as well. Just like Chaos Space Marine feels like something out of a musical, Basketball Shoes feels like the perfect closing number. Everything ties together and we learn what ultimately happened with the narrator. In my interpretation, the first part of the song talks about how it's been a while since their relationship ended, and the narrator is working on himself, praying that the rest don't mind how much he's changed, rocking a new fresh style, but he's still not feeling that great. He hasn't moved on, and for him, she's pretty much still there in the room. In part 2, he reminisces of the time they were still together. Even if she didn't love him entirely, she was still with him. He still had that. And finally, in part 3, Wet Dream. I love this song, I really do. and I do think some of the parts end a little too quickly, and the structure is a little messy, but it's still a great song. And like I said, it's the perfect closer. Ants from Up There hits me a little too hard. As someone who has been and is in love with someone who flew away, and as someone who also has been the Concorde of the relationship, yeah, I cry. It's one of the most emotionally raw and painfully transparent albums I've heard. And even though the songs aren't that catchy, I haven't been able to move on from this and listen to the other songs and the other albums that have come out this year so far. It has captivated me so much, and it makes me sad that we might never get another one like this, at least from this formation of the band. On January 31st of 2022, the band announced that the frontman was leaving due to mental health complications. Black Country New Road will continue to make music, but it's unclear on what form yet. I'll for sure miss the strange and pained way Isaac writes and sings, but it is for the best, just hoping he gets the help he needs. And to end this video, here's a tier list of the songs and my score. As much as I love this album to death, I see its flaws, so it can't be a 10. But it absolutely deserves a 9.
Coasting through suburban London, you are free. Your traction motors resonate with me. British Rail engineered 2-car EMU. Just like the third rail, I am connected to you. 456, forever you will be with me. Take it up to the top notch, run wild, let those traction motors scream.